Have you ever felt like you had to become someone else just to be loved? Like your true self wasn't enough to deserve attention, appreciation, or connection? What happens when we trade authenticity for acceptance and silence our own voice just to fit in? What you're about to hear isn't just a reflection. It's a story. One that carries a truth many of us forget, and that might speak directly to a part of you that's been quietly waiting to be seen. So stay with me until the end, because this may be the reminder your heart has been needing. Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed to the Mental Dose channel and join our Telegram community for early access to upcoming videos and exclusive insights on personal and spiritual growth. Let's begin the story. In the tallest branches of a forest older than memory, where golden light streamed through ancient leaves, lived a crow. The forest was vast and timeless, whispering with winds that had seen generations come and go. Its silence was sacred, broken only by the rustle of leaves or the distant call of creatures hidden in shadow. For the crow, this solitude wasn't just a setting, it was a mirror. High above, he felt safe yet unseen. From his perch, the world seemed close but never quite within reach. He had grown used to the stillness, but something inside him still longed for connection. With wide wings and feathers dark as a starless sky, his presence was quiet, strong, and misunderstood. No one feared him, but no one came close. His voice echoed like something ancient, and though he felt no hatred, he felt alone. Each morning he perched atop an old oak, watching the world below. And every morning his gaze found her, the dove, white, delicate, admired by all. She sang gently and flew close to the earth, admired wherever she went. "She brings peace," they whispered. The crow felt no jealousy, only emptiness. "I'm not like her," he thought. "No one calls me beautiful. No one waits for me. No one listens." Days passed and doubt crept in. His shadow, once natural, now felt like a flaw. He longed for the dove's softness, her light, her acceptance. So he decided, if he couldn't be loved as he was, maybe he could be loved by becoming someone else. He began flying low, gently, carefully. He preened his black feathers endlessly, wishing they would shine. He tried to mimic her song, but his voice cracked. He smiled with his eyes, though inside he felt hollow, and no one noticed, no one praised him. The dove was still adored, and he faded into silence. He gave up the things he loved, fierce flight, lonely skies, his bold cry, replacing them with efforts to be what he wasn't. He had lost himself. One morning, exhausted, he approached the dove by a stream. By then, the joy he once felt in his wings had faded. Each day felt heavier, like he was moving through fog. He barely recognized himself. The wind no longer carried him, it resisted him. The sky, once his home, had become a ceiling, and worst of all, the more he tried to be someone else, the more invisible he became. That morning he didn't just walk toward the dove, he carried the weight of forgetting who he truly was. She looked at him without judgment, only clarity. "Can I speak with you?" he asked softly. "Of course," she replied. "I've tried to be like you," he confessed. "To fly like you, sing like you. But still I feel invisible. No one sees me, no one values me. Maybe I just don't have worth." She stepped closer and said, "Crow, you were never meant to be like me. You weren't born to copy. You were born to fly, not low, not quiet, but bold and high. Your voice doesn't soothe, it signals change. Your feathers don't shine, they protect. You are needed. The forest needs your shadow as much as it needs my light." The crow didn't know what to say. Her words pierced something long buried, a part of him that had quietly yearned to believe he mattered, even in his darkness. No one had ever spoken to his soul that way. For a moment he stood completely still, not out of fear, but because something inside him was shifting. He lowered his eyes. "But no one says that." She answered, "No one says it because you stopped believing it first. When you abandoned your truth to imitate me, you gave up your power, and without your truth there's no light. Without it you can't fly. A shift stirred in him, pain but also clarity. And if no one accepts me, he asked. Then start with you, she said. Love who you are. See your own worth. You don't need everyone's approval. You need your own. When you look at yourself with love, the world begins to do the same. That night the crow returned to his tree, not broken but remembering. He looked into the stream and saw not ugliness but depth, strength, a story. At dawn he spread his wings, not for attention, not to impress, but to feel the sky again. And he flew, higher than before, not to be seen, just to be free. And the forest looked up. Look at the crow, whispered the fox. What presence, said the hare. He was always here, murmured the deer. We just didn't see him. Because sometimes the world only sees you once you see yourself. From that day on, the crow stopped trying to fly like the dove. He flew like himself, bold, true, unafraid. And the dove smiled every time she saw him pass, knowing there was never competition, only contrast. Both were necessary. Self-love isn't vanity, it's foundation. And you, how many times have you hidden your wings for fear of not being like the others? How many moments have you shrunk yourself just to fit into a space that was never meant for you? How often have you dimmed your voice, softened your truth, or changed your shape to match someone else's idea of beauty, worth, or love? If any of those questions speak to you, leave a comment below and share what part of this story resonated most. Sometimes putting it into words is the first act of remembering yourself. Maybe you've looked around and felt like your kind of light wasn't welcome. Maybe you've convinced yourself that in order to be accepted, you had to silence what made you unique. But the truth is, you weren't born to be a copy, a reflection, or a shadow of someone else's story. You were born to fly as only you can. Not perfectly, not according to anyone's script, but freely. You were born to carry your light, even if it flickers, to honor your shadows because they hold depth, to speak in your own voice even if it trembles, and to walk through this life not as a mirror of others, but as a living, breathing truth of your own existence. Your story matters. Your presence matters. What sets you apart isn't a flaw, it's your greatest strength. So stop waiting for permission. You don't need to change to be enough. You only need to remember who you are. And when you do, your wings will carry you further than you've ever dared to imagine. If this story touched you, leave a comment below and share what part resonated most. And don't forget to subscribe to Mental Dose for more stories that awaken, inspire, and reconnect. Your journey back to yourself starts here,